For 2025, Ford completely redesigned the Expedition. This is the full-size, family-friendly SUV designed for luxury driving, boat towing, trailer towing, and off-roading. Our test model is the Platinum Edition. It is also the Max Edition, which means it's the long wheelbase with added cargo space. This one has everything you can get on the 2025 Expedition except the Tremor trim, which actually is no longer a trim. It used to be a trim, or it used to be called something else. Now it is its own version of the Ford Expedition. I'm going to take you on a tour of the Platinum Edition, and I'm going to show you what there is to see and what there is to love in the 2025 Ford Expedition. Be sure to follow along on our social channels, subscribe to us right here on YouTube, and there is a link to our newsletter down below. And if you see a video pop up in the corner, click on it. We chose it just for you because if you like this, you're going to like that. With this complete redesign, the mission for Ford is to deliver everything that families want and need in a full-size SUV. So there is really great flexible seating space. There is a panoramic sunroof. There is Ford Blue Cruise hands-free driving. Ours is outfitted with leather. It has massaging seats, it has second row heated seats, but really the big idea here is what it is that you need. It has for off-roading, for tailgating, for picnicking. It has a brand new liftgate that does double duty. It has some really great features in the rear. I'll show you that. And we'll take it on the road and show you what it's like to drive. Additionally, I'm going to take the Tremor off-road and show you what that's like too. You're going to be amazed. I was. You'll see the Expedition name right there across the front of the hood and the blue Ford oval. You'll also notice that there are these new stacked headlights here. I have the high beams on so you can see. There are lower air intakes here across the front. And then there is a light bar you can see all the way around. It does sort of flicker. It doesn't actually in real life, but because of the difference in the camera speed versus the speed of that light, it looks like it's flickering. And it's accented by this chrome surround that goes around and underneath the front grille, and overall it gives this a really beautiful illuminated sort of hug of light around the front of the Ford Expedition. One thing Ford didn't change is the overall size and proportion of the Expedition. It's built on the platform of the Ford F-150, so it is long and it is tall. Ours is supported by 24-inch wheels. The Tremor Edition has true off-road or all-terrain tires, so slightly smaller for better grip on the off-road trail. You'll notice there is a new treatment on the rear. It has this dark tailgate at the top and then body color at the bottom. That's standard across the line, so all 2025 Ford Expeditions will have that black tailgate that actually continues sort of the color of the rear window all the way down to the split lift gate. You'll also see, and I don't know if you can see in there, but I'm going to try to show you, this is where you're going to find the windshield wiper. It's tucked in there up underneath that rear spoiler, so it's out of view, it's out of the way, and it's only there when you need it. This is the Max Edition that gives us more cargo space, and then underneath this panel here, this is where the tow connection is. So this is where you'll find the tow ball and be able to connect the hitch for Pro Trailer Assist, which is something that Ford is offering on the 2025 Expedition. Another thing new for 2025 are these roof rails, which might look like your average run-of-the-mill roof rails till you notice this. There actually is a work light right there in the roof rail, and there are work lights underneath the spoiler as well. So right here, and then there's one right here, and then if we open the lift gate, there are work lights inside as well. Let's talk about what it's like to drive the Ford Expedition. Keep in mind that this is a really large SUV. It's built on the platform of the Ford F-150. This is the largest vehicle that Ford builds, and it's big. It seats 8. We're driving the Max Edition. It has that additional 12 inches of cargo space, making it even longer. And it has over 9,000 pounds of towing, meaning that it is big and it is burly. It has a very large 6-cylinder engine that delivers 400 horsepower, 440 if you get the larger engine in the Tremor or opt for that in the King Ranch Edition. And that means there's a lot of power under the hood. So all of that says to me that's going to be a bear to drive, but that's not really the case. Ford has really worked on the suspension, they've worked on the comfort, on the ride quality, and then the engineering here, the visibility. So you sit up nice and high, the steering wheel is low, it's flat on the top so you don't have it impeding your view. You have the widescreen here, and then you're not even really looking at the hood. When you look out of the front of the car, you see some of the hood, but not a lot of the hood. And what that means is all I'm looking at is beautiful springtime in Indiana, these beautiful bucolic fields and farmland. And honestly, between that and the road, that's all I really want to see. I love the voice activation. I love that everything I need is at my fingertips or for the asking, and that I really can keep my eyes on the road. It's nicely done. Now, I'm going to sit back and enjoy a seat massage while I drive to the airport. Ford's mission in redesigning the Expedition is to make sure that everybody gets what they want in their trim. It starts at $62,000. This one tops out at over $94,000, but you do really get a lot for that money. We're in the Platinum edition. In Platinum is where it starts with leather, and you get a lot of pampering features, including massage seats. But there actually are two other trims available. There's a King Ranch, which is even more plush and really more off-road capable. And then there is the Tremor edition. In the Platinum edition, we get the V6 engine that delivers 400 horsepower and lots of spoilers for driver and passenger. It starts with this. So there's that 400 horsepower V6 engine. It has the auto entry feature. You notice that the steering wheel lowered to be right in front of me. This is where I set it for my driving this morning. And I want you to notice how the steering wheel is low. So my arm here, it's very low, and I have a large wide screen here in front of me, the driver display and some key information there. Then I have a control screen right here. All of this is what they call eyes up and out, or view up and out, meaning that I should be able to see everything I need to see right here and keep my view of the road nice and wide. And I will say I did really appreciate that. On my drive this morning, I used Blue Cruise, hands-free driving for much of the 80-mile trek out here to Indiana where we are today. And I was able to just let the car do most of the driving. Even taking the curves in the road and changing lanes, all of it was really easy. So what else do you get? Let's start with this steering wheel. It is called a Squircle because it is a square circle. So it is rounded, but it's flat on top and bottom. And that's, again, to keep the visibility, your visibility open and not let the steering wheel impede on your visibility. And I'm going to tell you, that's something that you don't know you need until you have it. And then every other steering wheel feels weird. I kind of like that. There are also touch pads here that allow us to change the things we see on the steering wheel, to set Blue Cruise or Adaptive Cruise on the left side, and to set entertainment and adjust the steering wheel and adjust the foot pedals right here on the steering wheel. Everything else is right here in this touch screen, in this control screen, or on this control panel right here. So you'll notice that there are the driver display here, we have our weather here, and we have our maps here. If you don't want to see that, you can actually change that using this little icon right here. So I can decide if I want to see my fuel economy over there, I can change it. If I want to see my off-road status, I can change it to that. I can change it to my media settings so I can see what's on the Sirius XM or on the radio there. Map will stay where that is. I also have an odometer, and I can see the direction we're going and the outside temperature. On the touch screen, you'll have a lot of information here. You can have your Google Maps if you would like to have that, and you can tap it just to get the full map, or you can go to CarPlay, which I have set up right here. If I want to use my CarPlay map, I'm going to have to look at it here. It will not display up here on the screen, at least not yet. I still do have the option of having my media here, and then I have all my driver display functions here. If I tap the vehicle, there's a lot of really important details here, including this is where you're going to find the headlights. So if I want to turn on the headlights, I can turn them on, I can turn them on auto, I can turn them off and just turn on the parking lights, and I can turn them completely off if I don't want them on at all, but I'm going to turn them on automatic. Another feature that I can see with lighting is I can change the color of my ambient lights, and I can change power for lights inside the car based on zones. So if I don't want my kids playing with, say, the interior lights, and I just want the headlights on, or I want to turn on the work lights, I can do that, or I can turn them all off. It's easily customizable, and I love that. This allows us to turn on the massage seats. I really love that. Driver and passenger, and that's where we get to pick our seat. Auto hold, my very favorite feature. Once you have this on, and it just stays on. Once I've set it, it's set it and forget it. It's either on or it's not. I can set the brightness of the screen, and then here are our parental controls, so I can control rear audio, rear climate. And one thing I really love though is the settings. And this is where you're gonna find a lot of these key functions right here. This is where I can set the split gate to open with the key fob, open it manually only, and power. I can set a keypad for the door I can open without a key. Easy exit entry, I don't really love that, but I will leave it on. So lots of nice settings in here. And then here are our system profile. If I would like to set a driver profile, I can do that here. Driver assistance, here are all our driver assistance features. So if you want to turn some of these things off, say the rear view camera, speed limit assist, cruise control, you can actually turn those things on and off right there under driver assist, here under settings. Assistant and voice, this is where you can turn on or off the digital assistant from Google, and that is where, as long as that's on, that's where you'll have your Hey Google. If you get into the Ford Expedition and you say Hey Google and it's not working, it's going to be under the screen here. Let me show you. You're going to tap the car, you're going to go into settings, and then you're going to go down here to assistance and voice, and you're going to tap this little function wheel here, and this is where you're going to go to say Hey Google and tap that on, and now you have Hey Google. We have Google voice activation. So all I have to do is say, Hey Google, and the system is there to deliver whatever it is I need. Lower the temperature, turn on the driver's massage seat, set the radio station, set the navigation, whatever it is I need, I can do that. I can also use Google Maps for navigation with my Apple CarPlay, and I can go home and see my main screen. This gives us a little extra help for climate control, and then our climate panel is right here. Passenger can set their comfort, driver comfort, heated seats, and then the fan speed is there. This is where we have our manual gear control. Just tap the M and then select the gear that you want. Volume for the radio, auto stop start, park assist, so I can turn on or off the parking chimes. This is my camera. So if I want to set my camera, I can tap that, and then I can pick the view that I want, and it has this nice surround view camera. I can turn off traction control, and here's my downhill assist control. Here's my Pro Trailer Assist. Here is the wireless charge pad. I have a little thing, a little battery charging there. I've got a couple of cup holders, but this is absolutely my favorite feature in this entire car, and it is the sliding center console. So you push this button, the console slides back. It actually moves the cup holders and the climate controls closer to rear seat passengers, and it opens up this nice bin here. Notice there's also a nice little Easter egg right there. There's a little Model T Ford right there. Isn't that clever? This is a place where you can stow a handbag or smaller items, throw them in there, and if you want them to stay there under lock and key and out of the view of prying eyes, you can just close it and no one can see what's in there. I love this feature, and I'm so glad that they included it. We're in the Platinum Edition, and it is something that which is not the top of the line, by the way, but it's something that we see in this edition. In the Tremor, down here, there is a lockbox as an option. So you can get an actual safe that you can lock and keep things in there as well, and that's in the Tremor Edition. I love that. But the real magic in the Ford Expedition is how it fits all your people in the rear. Let's go check it out. I want you to watch this. Did you see that? The running boards on the 2025 Ford Expedition just extended to allow me to step out of this car comfortably. So what will rear seat passengers find in the center row? Well, first thing is they're going to be glad for the running boards because that makes it much easier to get in. But they're going to find a lot of comfort. So we have captain's chairs here. You can get a bench seat if you like. We're in the Platinum Edition, so that has leather. The Active Edition starts with cloth upholstery. We have some really nice features though. There is a nice little holder here for a tablet or a phone, so I can just pop my phone in there and I can put on my headphones and I can watch a movie, which is a nice detail. There also is an attachment that goes on the back of the headrest that will hold a tablet or a phone as well. We don't have that in our model, but that's something that you can request when you order your Ford Expedition. This console is slid. I slid this all the way back, so it moved these cup holders closer to me, the climate panel. There is a household outlet here. There are 2 USB ports under here and under here on these seat backs. So that's 4 USB ports there. There's 2 in here, so that's 6, 7, 8 in the front, 9, 10, 11, 12 USB ports, plus 2 household outlets, 1 here and 1 there, and 2 12-volt sort of the cigarette adapter style outlets. So that is what, 16 power outlets in total in the Ford Expedition. I think that is like 2 per person. If you have a bench seat and you can seat 8, you have 2 power outlets per person. That's pretty insane, but it's also really good. What else do you get in the rear of the Ford Expedition? So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you what it's like when the center console is not pushed all the way back. You get quite a lot of legroom. So if you do really need this pass-through for getting into the 3rd row, you've got the space, but you can also use the slide and tilt seats. I'm going to show you what that looks like. But first, I'm going to measure for child passenger car seats. So this seat is set for me, and I'm 5'8", and then this seat is on a rail, and it is all the way back. Well, I would have measured for child passenger car seats, but my measuring tape is broken. I have no idea what happened or if I'll be able to fix it, but I will try or I'll get a new one, but can't believe it. But let's talk about installing child passenger car seats, because just because I don't have a tape measure doesn't mean we can't talk about it. I did measure these before, and this is set for me, and this seat is set all the way back, and I still have more than about 32 inches, so plenty of space for a rear-facing child passenger car seat. Even with this seat set pretty far back, I still have plenty of room for a rear-facing child passenger car seat. Ford included 4 full sets of child car seat latches, the lower anchors, and the tethers on the rear. This is in the 3rd row. There's a set there and there's a set here. And 2nd row seats have lower anchors as well in the outboard seating positions. These captain's chairs have these nice armrests, which may or may not be necessary, especially if you're installing car seats. And then if you want, say, that forward-facing seat or the baby bucket pulled a little bit closer to the front seat, you can do that because these seats are very, very adjustable. They also are reclining, so I can recline pretty far back and relax and cross my legs and take a very nice nap, as if I'm in a first-class airline seat. I really like that. But let's look at the slide and tilt seats, because that is something that you will really appreciate if you have the bench, or if you have large child passenger car seats in these outboard seats and they are difficult to get past. You can slide and tilt these seats with a child passenger car seat installed. And look at how much space this gives me for climbing into the 3rd row. I don't even need really a handhold. I can, there we go. It was really easy to climb in because the amount of space that opens up there is really fantastic. Now let's talk about how much space we have here in the 3rd row. So now I'm going to climb into the 3rd row using the pass-through. And the nice thing is there are 3 headrests here. So there is one on either side, plus there's one in the middle. So I can actually put a passenger here in the 3rd row if I need to, or if I need to install, say, a child booster seat and I need that head restraint, I am able to do that. So that's something that I really like. What else do we have back here? So this seat is really pushed pretty far forward, and if I sit behind that, I have a ton of leg room. I can cross my legs quite comfortably. This one is set all the way back, and even with it all the way back, I can still fit here, although my knees do touch the seat back here. So with this seat all the way back, it is really, the 3rd row is really more comfortable for someone who's a little on the not so tall side. But this middle seat is actually quite comfortable for someone who maybe is a little taller and would like to stretch out their legs, cross their legs, and have the full view of the interior of the Ford Expedition. Let's see, what else do you get back here? So we have handholds here. We have 4 cup holders. We have these buttons that put down the seats or recline them. Power seats in the 3rd row, I kind of like that. These seats are all power operated, so I can raise or lower these using the buttons in the rear. And we have cup holders. We have 4 USB ports back here and air vents in the ceiling. I like that. But you may not want to sit in the middle seat because Ford also added this capability, and that is the gear tunnel. So this seat can fold completely flat, as can the middle seat in the center row. So if you would like to put, say, skis or tall things through the center of the third row and the second row to extend your cargo space, you can do that. You can still seat 4 passengers back here and have room for everyone's skis. Pretty clever. One of the things that I really love about the 2025 Ford Expedition is this. It has a split lift gate, which means this part opens up, which is phenomenal, and this part opens down, which is even better. And what that means is if you are out driving around in the mud and the rain and wherever, or it's just dirty and dusty, and you would like to sit up here and get out of the sun, out of the mud, and out of the rain, you can do that, and you can still kick your legs, and you're not going to get your jeans rubbing against a dirty rear bumper. Isn't that lovely? It's so thoughtful. Another thing that I'll show you about the cargo area, and again, it's nice to not have to lean up against that bumper, is this. Underneath the cargo area, there is this table that pops out, and it's quite clever. So let me show you how this works. First of all, I've got to put my suitcase out of the way, but there are little clips that pop down here and here on either side, there and there. And that's where I can put this table for what they are calling a cargo management system. So it'll pop in just like this. Just like that, and now I have a cargo management system. So notice that there is a sort of an extended end here. This is the part that goes here for stowing inside, but for the table, the longer part goes here and it clips right there, and it clips right here. Flip it around like this and put it into these there. There are legs that pop out right here. Let's see if I can pull that out without ripping off a fingernail. And now I have a work surface. So I've got this really great table. If I want to, say, lay out lunch here and maybe drinks here, or allow people to assemble their sandwiches, or if I want to, whatever it is I might need to do, if I want to create a production line of crafts for kids after school, I have all the space to do it. But wait, there's more, because in addition to this cargo management system, I can actually flip this down and it becomes a backrest for tailgating. So if I would like to just be able to sit back and relax, or I want to let my littles sit back and relax, I don't want them to roll back into the cargo area, I can put this up. I love that they created this. I love that they include it. It is a dealer option, so you do have to add that. And I love that it stows underneath the cargo floor, so it has a really nice, neat place where it goes when it's not in use. Very clever, Ford. What else will we find in the cargo area? Well, in the Platinum Edition, there are a lot of cool things. So first of all, I'm going to put this back underneath this cargo floor, and it just slides right in like that. And now we have a totally flat cargo floor. We do have a household outlet. We have a 400-watt inverter outlet, so a 3-prong type outlet for more power. Our Platinum Edition has these nice buttons. There's a work light here, and then there's these nice buttons to raise or lower the third row. So I can actually lower this side. If I'd like to, I can also lower that side, and I will get a ton of contiguous cargo space. Now I have to move that center seat forward a little bit. But with these seats down, you have a literal ton of cargo space. I do love the split gate for absolutely my favorite thing, and that is just to hang out and enjoy a really beautiful day. The air is so nice, the water is beautiful, and hanging out right here away from the bugs and the dirt on this nice tailgate, that's my way to go. And then when you want to put the lift gate away, you can set it to just close this part and close this part separately, or you can also set the height of the lift gate. But if you press this, it's set now to close both at once. Isn't that lovely? And so now that I'm on the highway, it is time for probably the most technical part of my day, and yet the most boring part of my day, and that is driving the next hour and 10 minutes on this flat, straight interstate highway through Indiana and into Kentucky using Blue Cruise. So Blue Cruise is going to basically do all the driving for me. I get a notification on the driver's display that says Blue Cruise is available. All I do is tap this little button on the steering wheel, and then I'm driving hands-free. If I'd like to change lanes, I just tap my turn signal, it checks to make sure it's safe, and then it changes lanes. It's so easy. It's so easy, and it's really good. I don't have to do another thing for the next 77 miles except keep my eyes on the road. I think it's time to listen to a podcast. This is the very first Tremor edition that Ford has done in the Expedition. It's a trim that we know from the trucks. We know it is off-road worthy. Well, we're going to finally get to try it out in this full-size SUV. What is Tremor? Well, it's all the off-road chops. It is the skid plates and the tow hooks, the most powerful engine that Ford builds. It's a 6-cylinder that delivers 440 horsepower, so lots of power. I'm going to show you what this is like while it's clean, because we're going to take it off-road and get it dirty. But before we get it dirty, let me show you what else you get in the Tremor edition of the Ford Expedition. In the Ford Expedition Tremor, you'll see it starts with those Tremor details. So gold air intakes here and tow hooks, gold tow hooks there on the bottom. We even have these off-road lights. These actually are trail lights that come on when you put on the high beam headlights, which we see there. She's a tall girl. It tows over 9,000 pounds. That's why we have this large front grille. And it is a full-size SUV. One clever detail are these gold surrounds on the wheel here, and that is so if even when it's covered in mud, you can find the air input there if you need to add a little air or take a little air out of the tires. There's a Tremor badge here on the lower front driver's side door, and there's a fixed running board there. So it doesn't have the automatic retractable running boards that we see on the other models. This one is fixed, and there's that gold outline on the wheel where you have the air valve. On the rear, we see the same liftgate that we see on the Expedition, on all new 2025 Expeditions, except that there are gold details here in the Expedition name. Notice that there. And then notice number 3, that's because this is the one that we're going to be taking off-road. There is a tow package under here, so this is just a little cover to keep it nice and neat when you don't need the tow hook extended from the rear of the car. And then underneath are the tailpipes, so that's where you'll see the tailpipe, and there is a spare tire under there in case you need that. The Ford Expedition Tremor model also has a lot of capability for the off-road in addition to the things we see on the exterior. Let me show you what that looks like. Hey, look, there's an Easter egg. An Expedition on the off-road on the Ford Expedition Tremor. Inside, there are lots of great details too, including those orange accents here and the Tremor name embossed on the seat backs here, embroidered here on the front seats, and then gold stitching here on the leather and micro suede seats. So over here on the left side of the steering wheel is where you will find the drive mode settings. So notice that we have 2 high, 4 all, so 4-wheel drive, 4 low, and 4 high. And then I can also push it to lock the axles or the differential. So if I want to make sure that I've got traction on all 4 tires at the same time and none of them are spinning, I can tap that. And then I can also see, I will see that it's active right here on my driver display. And this is where I'll also see 4 all. So if I want all 4 at the same time, and you saw it said shift in progress, then I'll see that there. I can also go into 4 high, meaning all 4 wheels high speed, or I can go into 4 low, which gives me 4 low speed 4-wheel drive. And I can just tap OK there on the steering wheel to get rid of that. And then if I want to lock that differential, I want to take it, I want to unlock it and let some wheels spin, I can turn that off or I can turn that on. So I definitely feel the mechanics working as I'm sitting here pushing these buttons. And if I want to just go back into regular driving, I can put it into 2 high right there. I can turn off that lock differential, and then I can turn this dial to go through my drive modes. And so here they are. That is just regular on-road. There's my towing and hauling, eco mode, sport mode, and then here for the winter weather, snowy, icy roads. If I'm on uneven roads, say rutted roads or dirt roads, I can turn it to that. And then I can also turn it to low speed for rocks and boulders. So that's going to give me extra capability in addition to the drive modes that I'm choosing, whether it's 4 low or 4 high, and whether or not I have the lock differential on or off. It gives me a lot of opportunities, a lot of options for off-road driving. Over here next to the gear selector, I also have manual shifting. So if I want to put it in manual and say I'm in drive and I want to put it in manual mode and then be able to select my gear, you'll see right here that I can shift down. Well, I'm not driving, so it won't only allow me to go up to second gear, but I can actually shift my gears manually. So say I'm driving down a hill or on a road that I need a little extra control over the engine and transmission without using the brakes, I can use manual mode. How fast are we going? 26 miles an hour on this road. That's pretty crazy. I'm going to say that's something that Ford really loves to do, is drive fast on it. Kristen's at the wheel, just so you know. She is a professional off-roader because she has done Rebelle Rally 3 times and taken all the training. So I feel like I'm in good hands here. But we'll see how I do and if she minds the screaming. The reason that you want a four-wheel drive, true four-wheel drive, is so that you can come to places like this. We are deep in the forest. It is muddy. It's been raining. It might be a nice place for a hike, or it might be nice to get up to the top of the trail and then take a hike or have a picnic or camp. And if you've got a lot of gear to carry with you, you're not going to hike in with all that gear, but you can put it in the back of the Expedition or on a roof rack and carry it with you. You could also bring a trailer up here if you had something that was capable of these kinds of roads. You wouldn't want to drive this fast. But if you needed to bring a trailer up here for a week of camping, you really can be out here in the middle of the woods without other humans around, just you and the bobcats and the wolves. And this is the kind of car that will allow you to do that.
Water crossing, you'll notice on your driver's side,
There's any muddy trails. A rutted road like this, you would...
Will driver follow? Passenger or passenger? Yep, stay passenger. Get down, yep, straight down, got it.
All right, now, 45 miles an hour, woohoo!
Nice and low on the entry.
Parking sensor is not available. Look at this, even running boards are underwater here. Parking sensor is not available. So now it's time to do the mud check. We are in the Tremor. We are at our lunch spot. All the Tremors are lined up here. and I'm gonna do the mud check and see how we did. The first thing is I have to step over this very muddy running board. Look how muddy that is. And there's even mud inside the door frame. Not inside the car, mind you. The car's pretty clean, but mud everywhere. All right, let's try to get out and not get it on my clothes. Woo! Tires, muddy. Rear carriage, muddy. Ah! Okay, that guy got a lot muddier than we did. I have to give him credit. Let's see, maybe our passenger side. Oh, a lot of scrapes, but actually not all that muddy. I don't know, is that a sign of success or not? They got pretty muddy. I'm gonna say our running boards are muddier than theirs. He must not have gone as deep in the water as we did. We went pretty deep in the mud. Let's look at the front end. Pretty muddy. All right, even our gold accents there are muddy. But look at this. Here's our telltale sign. We can still see through the mud. I can still see the gold outline on the wheel to know where the air filler is on the tire. So it's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. It's been a really fantastic couple of days driving the Ford Expedition, something I've been looking forward to for quite some time. And that's because Ford's redesign of the Expedition really thought about everything a family wants and needs: towing, off-roading, flexible seating, lots of cargo space, and lots of comforts, but also the places that you'll want to go and the things that you'll want to do with your Ford Expedition. The things I like the most: that sliding center console, the comfortable leather seats, Ford Blue Cruise 1.4, which is much better than the prior editions of Ford Blue Cruise. That split tailgate, I really love that split tailgate for so many reasons. I also really like the Max Edition for the extra cargo space that you get. The third row is very comfortable. I love the running boards. In a car this big, you really need running boards, whether they're automatic or not. Doesn't really matter that they're automatic is nice, but you need them for getting in and out of this car. And I really love the feel of that Squircle steering wheel in my hand. That is a brilliant move. I think all the things that Ford did with this new technology are pretty spectacular and very forward looking into the future of what all of our cars are going to look and feel like. So if you ask me, the 2025 Ford Expedition really hit it out of the park.